Hello and welcome to our next episode of Presentation Hell. We are podcasting today from Embark Collective Studios in Tampa, Florida. And with us we have Jake Henry, who is the founder of Lectra Tech. And this is cool because Lectra Tech, it's like a wearables. It's like it is conductive therapeutic tape that provides analytics. Right? Did I get that right?
Yeah, you're pretty
Jake,
close.
welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about Lectra Tech and this like therapeutic wearable kinesio tape kind of thing? Not a very good description on my part, but I think you can do it much better for our
And I
audience.
think you did a great job, first of all. And second of all, thank you so much for having me on. It's a pleasure. And I appreciate you guys being flexible because unfortunately I'm not in the Tampa area, so we couldn't do this in person. But
No worries.
it is what it is. A little bit of a background on, first of all, like what it is. You did a really good job. But essentially we took the traditional kinesiology tape and we created some conductive fibers that we thread throughout the kinesiology tape, and then we deliver wireless electrotherapy. So it's like those traditional muscle stimulation devices that you use when you go to physical therapy or athletic training. We wanted to take that and create like a smart version of the stimulators, and then the additional rehab benefits of the conductive kinesiology tape in itself. So
hang on. So like, is it like almost like electronic tape? So is it in a way like wearing your like your Apple Watch, Fitbit kind of thing, but instead it's tape that's taped right onto your muscle,
right,
or your joint, or whatever's bothering you.
Right. So think of us as like, you ever hear of Whoop? Whoop, the sleep band?
I have not.
So we're essentially just Whoop does like sleep. They measure sleep. They measure recovery of the body from like a workout. We're essentially like just all the rehab metrics behind all of that. So then what we're doing is like we'll have this wireless muscle stimulator that we design that fits in and out of this conductive kinesiology tape. It's like, for example, if you have a muscle strain in your bicep, you'd put this tape over your bicep. And what we're doing then is you would be able to pop this little capsule in that we designed, the little pockets in the tape. And then immediately what it's going to start doing is measuring the bioimpedance underneath your skin and like the junction or like the muscle of your bicep. And then what we can do is we can read what's going on from like a neuromuscular level underneath your skin and in your bicep. And we can say, okay, so this person has like a grade 1 muscle strain. So it's a slight pull to almost a tear of their bicep muscle. And we're creating an algorithm that's going to be like, okay, now based off of exactly what's going on, like from the physiology perspective, we can give this amount of shock for this amount of time over this duration or this period of time to help the muscle process, like the body's natural healing process, speed up essentially. So what's cool is like, there was just a study done at Stanford, and they did this with like dermal remodeling and like skin remodeling. And they had a really good turnout with their study. It was 25% of the individuals who used like the accelerated frequencies or like the more specified pulses. 25% healed faster, and it was like upwards of 50% more of like a dermal remodeling. So like they healed faster and more efficiently than the control group who used like the regular like muscle stim system that's on the market. So that was a pretty cool proof of concept, and like I'd love to get into like the full story of why we started, but I just kind of wanted to further go in depth of what it was. So we're pretty much collecting that muscle rehab feedback.
So this is really cool, and we are completely in hell right now. We are in presentation hell because you have a wicked cool product that you're developing, and it is so personal to so many people because, especially over a certain age, they have achy bones, achy joints. People who exercise a lot. I have been studying ballet my entire life, and
wow.
I wear kinesio tape on my knee, my left knee, for like 4 years, and eventually I had to have meniscus tear, laparoscopy, and all that good stuff. But and this is going to turn into a little tutorial. You have a fabulous product and a great idea, and you have a very rational description of it. So when you're talking to people, to average people who aren't nearly as smart as you, they're not chemists or scientists. They don't have your degrees or background. They're just regular people. Who's your audience?
So our initial target audience is we wanted to go. Well, this is what it's taken forever for us to really be able to fine tune and figure out.
Mm-hmm.
So it started off just being individuals who are looking for pain management, which was too wide of like a target market. So we repositioned to go B2B, which was like physical therapy specifically.
Okay.
And then we got a bunch of different feedback from like venture capitals and people who were like that we had reached out to personally. Like, why don't you go for the low hanging fruit? So we're like, okay, what would be the low hanging fruit of people who want to help reduce injury and increase performance, but would also prefer to have more of like an analytic style approach? And it was kind of like, oh my gosh, CrossFit, Spartan runners, marathon runners, people who kind of like you had said, people who wear the Fitbitsy Apple Watches, but they want that specific feedback on a specific part of the body that they're having trouble with.
Right.
Yeah. So I appreciate you making that connection. That's cool.
No, but the connection, and when you talk about it, because it's a really cool when you talk about it and you're just describing it, because here we're just a general podcast. I'm not a venture capitalist. I'm not going to look at your numbers and be like, oh, the size of the market is $8 billion over the course of 25 years, but baby boomers are dying and they don't know how to tape stuff on their knees, or whatever they'll come up with, some big spreadsheet of information. The human connection, especially around working out, because people who work out are so passionate about it. Like runners are passionate about running. I think that's annoying, but they like to run, so go for it. And rowers and boaters and dancers, I'm passionate about dancing. I could talk about dancing all day. Nobody wants to hear me. And that's where you should start with your conversation. It's like, we have tape, we have electromagnetic kinesiology tape, or excuse me, conductive therapeutic tape.
We're just calling it a smart Band-Aid now, because we even got into that point where it's Band-Aid.
Like, you put it on your joint or your muscle that aches, or your joint or your muscle that you want to build and get stronger, and it will monitor and provide data so you can get better, get stronger, or heal.
That's the goal.
And how cool is that? Like, put it on your elbow, put it on your knee, and then go run a mile. See what happened. It's a smart Band-Aid.
Exactly. So
that's brilliant.
I appreciate it. I was going to say,
trademark.
Yeah, well, we call it the electrolyte tape, but we like market it as like a smart Band-Aid because that's kind of what helps it keep it from going.
That makes so much more sense to me than conductive therapeutic kinesio tape. And I know what kinesio tape is because I've worn it. But most people like, what? I don't know how to spell it. I don't know what that is.
Exactly. That's and we wanted to be able to fit to like the general populace of people who were like, I don't really care what conductive therapeutic stuff you're making. I just want to feel better. And we were like, all right, well then we'll help you do that. So I'm sorry I dodged your question a little bit earlier about like where the origin came from, about why we started it.
Yeah, tell us where the origin came from. How'd you get the idea?
So, well, first of all, like I was an athlete all my life. I still play college soccer. And
so soccer.
Yeah, so soccer was big with me. I wasn't good enough to do ballet. I tried. Yeah. But I did the muscle simulation stuff all the time. I was stubborn. I would get hurt. And I wanted to make a way to put quantitative results behind the recovery process, but also make it super easy to use. But to go even more in depth than that, like I started this 3 years ago. And my mom personally, like within the last 3 or 6 years now, she's developed osteoarthritis and inflammation in her knee. Okay. And so immediately I was like, is there anything that I can do to help her out? Like, is there anything that I can make? I can try and help her. And because it sucks because like I saw like a major decline in like her health, her happiness, like her lifestyle. And I was like, well, if there's something. You can't walk
anywhere if it hurts.
Yeah, she couldn't walk. She couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And she was going to her physical therapist, her clinician, and she was going to even a personal trainer. And they would all tell her different exercises to do.
I did all of that.
Yeah. And what sucks is like, all three of them were telling her to do different stuff, and maybe she would do one with like the PT, and the different one from the personal trainer would hurt her even more because of what she was doing with the PT. Like there was a communication, like a compliance barrier in communication.
Right. And remember, a physical therapist has a lot more knowledge than a personal trainer does.
Exactly.
So I know some very smart personal trainers.
Oh, I think all personal trainers, and like I think all of them are way smarter than me too. And that's like I just want to like the goal is to kind of bring everybody together. But like what I was saying was with the clinician, So my mom, she just kept getting worse and worse, and it just hurt to see her kind of like stumbling around, like hobbling pretty much. So she
Oh, poor mom.
she was asking, like, the her clinician prescribed her like opioids, and I was like, well, I don't know if that's the way to go either, because then she started going down the road of like more and more in depth on the opioids and kind of getting addicted a little bit, and then
Yeah, we don't want that.
yeah, so she kind of asked, she was like, is there anything I can do with surgery? Like, can we do surgery? Can we do like some sort of knee replacement where the arthritis can go away? And the doctor was like, no, we can just keep doing like more rehab and more like oxycodone and stuff. And it just wasn't working. So I was like, okay, I need to make this now. And I'd done muscle stimulation, and I was like, well, I'm going to find a way to make it super easy for her. It was, if she was going, she loves Zumba. She was like, if she's going to Zumba, like, I want to make it super easy. Put it on your knee, go to Zumba, be able to do Zumba again, and have a great time and see what's going on inside after. So I made this, and it was like, Mom, you got to try just once, just one time. And she was like, no, I'm okay, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like her pain got so bad, but she was like, okay, I'll try it. So she puts it on.
And she went to Zumba? So she went to Zumba with a bad knee?
Yeah, well, she was trying. She wasn't really doing much. She would kind of go to Zumba, and then she kind of just ended up watching every time, which is even worse than going, you know?
That's a bummer. I love Zumba.
Exactly. We always did Zumba in gym class, and it was a great time. There you go with your dancing. There you go.
Yeah, okay, keep going. So mom's knee, Zumba, can't really do the class. She's wearing your smart Band-Aid.
Yeah, there you go.
And
so with that, like, I finally got her to try it. I was like, Mom, just one time. She goes, all right, whatever, I'll try one time. I promise you this story is real. So she puts this on, and it was 20 minutes. She used it for 20 minutes. It was the first time, like, just 20-minute session. She takes it off, and she kind of stands up, and she was like, oh my gosh. And all of a sudden she starts like doing squats, and just like she runs over to the other side of my house and just starts going up and down our basements. I do not make this up.
So it didn't just monitor her, it helped her.
Yeah, so we added it's a monitor of the health.
Right.
It's the reduction of it. Even though kinesiology tape is thought to be a placebo, I'll be transparent with that. But like, for the people who do use it, like,
I used it, but I still had to have knee surgery, and it made me feel good to like tape up my knee in funny shapes before class, like the process. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, but like the big thing was like, okay, well, if we can reduce inflammation with this, that'd be helpful. And then the thing with kinesiology tape that's cool is maybe it's a placebo, but the one thing it does do is it pulls the skin off of the muscle. And then what's cool about that?
It kind of holds things in place. It does do that, yeah.
Exactly. And then what's cool is you can use the muscle stimulation that we added, and then since the skin's off the muscle, you can get a direct hit right on that muscle. So it's way more efficient.
So what do you use? I'm just curious. What do you put in the tape? It's wires?
Well, we made this.
We made this. What is it?
So we have a little. I wish I could show you the video right now, but I don't want to mess anything up. But so we thread conductive wires into kinesiology tape that we made, because I wanted to change the kinesiology tape dynamic up. We try to make it more out of like a bamboo nylon mix instead of like the cotton nylon polyester.
Right.
And then we thread the conductive fibers in. So like, obviously, you know what muscle stimulation is. So you know how you just kind of place those like hydrogel type electrodes on your skin, and then it just kind of zaps you. But I wanted to get rid of that.
This little jump thing when it gets zapped. It's really cool, actually.
Exactly.
Again, for my knee, I had all of that PT and had those electrodes hooked up to my thighs. Yeah.
Exactly. And like the big thing is like, we can get rid of the electrode. Like, why do you need to have the electrode there? Why don't we just do a piece of tape that acts as an electrode but also has therapeutic benefits? So essentially, we just sewed this into the tape, and then my co-founder Nick and I, he's an electrical engineer, so he did a lot of like the technology background, and I just worked more on the biological background and talking to the right people, I guess. He helped us create this printed circuit board.
Show me.
So those circuit boards in here, if you can see a little bit of it.
Okay.
Well, maybe. So that's the little printed circuit. I wish I should have.
That circuit board is going on the tape, or?
Yeah. So then what we have is like a little capsule that we designed. We 3D printed a capsule, and then this goes in it, and then there's aluminum legs that are going to come out. So think of like
aluminum legs, like spider legs.
Kind of like a spider leg, almost like think of it like this. This is a little piece that's going to have this circuit board in it. And then it essentially is going to, if you click the sides, there's two tiny little spider legs that come out of it and fit right in the tape like this. So then
Is it that big? So it's not going to be flat. It's going to stick out a little bit.
So it's gonna be flat, but right now it looks like this guy right here.
Okay. So eventually it'll be more subtle, but right now it's kind of clunky.
Exactly, because we're trying to figure out the rest of the system.
Cool. I would try it.
Yeah, and then that's what was delivering those pulses. And then what's cool is like everything's connected through like our app, so you can just administer the pulses through the app, and then there's a transmission antenna that comes from here, so it has sensors in the bottom that are transmitted through the antenna that send it directly back to the phone, and then you can see all the cool stuff from it. And then we again, like the thing that's cool about doing this, I'm calling them smart pulses because they're not a thing yet, so I'm calling them. I'm coining that. Somebody send me a royalty check for that one.
There you go.
So we're doing that, and then what's cool is like we wanted people to have a personalized experience because like I feel like people are leaning more towards personalizing every aspect of their life, whether it's their exercise, their sleep patterns, their eating habits, their education habits, whatever it is. People like to do what they like to do.
Data is making preferences for you based on your choices yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
You get suggestions on Netflix or Amazon Books or based on what you did. So that's kind of, people just expect it.
Yeah, exactly. And we essentially, like I said, is we figure out what pulses they need, and then we give them like a little range where they can still feel like they're in control, but it's going to be in control to a level where we know they're going to be safe, and it's going to be
so they can zap themselves. So they can give themselves a zap, but it's not addictive like an opium drip.
Exactly, it's all non-invasive, which is the really cool aspect.
Morphine drip.
Yeah.
So you have this way cool smart Band-Aid. You apply it to your achy joint, and you go work out or walk or whatever it is that you do, and it's got this little monitors in it that connect to your app so you can see what's wrong, how to get stronger, basically.
Exactly. Yep.
And it'll monitor, going forward.
So it'll monitor the feedback every single time you do it. Like it'll be saving each session as well. So it'll tell you how you change from yesterday to today or this morning to this afternoon. And what's cool again is like it's non-invasive. So you're not hurting the body by doing it more. Like if you feel pain, you do it, and then you get the feedback.
Can I throw a presentation hell challenge at you?
Let's do it.
Tell me everything you just said in the last 15, 20 minutes. Can you break that down into 2 sentences? What do you do?
Sure.
What's Lectra Tech? What is it? Why do I want it? 2 sentences.
So, we are a smart Band-Aid that helps non-invasively support the body's natural healing process by administering wireless smart pulses to help decrease muscle atrophy, increase blood flow, and help speed up the body's natural healing process. And we do this as a way to close the compliance barrier to physical therapists and be able to help individuals pave their own path to recovery by creating the most effective rehabilitative tool in the world and help, hopefully, in the future, millions of people to recover smarter.
Very good. Can I make it shorter?
Let's do it.
You are a smart Band-Aid that has wires in it, and I'm not doing a great job either. So
I think you're doing a great job.
This again. We're going to cut that.
You got this.
You have Lectra Tech is a smart Band-Aid that you put on your bad knee or your bad shoulder. It has healing therapy. Damn it. It is hard. You know what? It's really hard to do. All right. One more time.
You're doing good, though. Hey, for the first time hearing this,
Tech
I think you did a great job.
It's a smart Band-Aid that you put on your achy joint. It will, one, increase blood flow there, so it'll help you heal, but it will also monitor and take feedback, and it would also monitor what's going on in that joint and put that feedback through to your app so you can get suggestions for healing. Ah, fuck it.
No, that was good. You were on the right track, so then you can get...
It's such a simple concept. Not that it's simple, but it's like, oh, it's a smart Band-Aid that's going to help me fix my achy joints. It's going to monitor what I'm doing. It's also going to support me while I'm working out.
That's perfect.
Maybe
and I was going to say...
And I did it because my mom had pain in her knee, and I wanted her to go to Zumba.
I wanted my mom to be able to dance like no tomorrow, so I made something that would zap her back.
Zap her back, exactly.
Zap her back to healthy lifestyle. There
Nice.
you just gave me our new slogan.
Good. No, I'm happy to do it. That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
That's
I
why
love
we're getting you out of hell.
I love it.
Excellent. Well, Jake Henry from Lectra Tech, thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you so much for having me on. I appreciate it. It was a pleasure to meet you.
Our pleasure.